I'm Glen Young, Amazon's fitness magazine, celebrate the female physique, amazonsfitmag.com. I'm at the training facility here out in Orlando, coming up on the last shoot, if you will, of the weekend. But joining me now is IFBB women's bodybuilder Cheryl Mears. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we're getting ready to shoot in a minute.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, everyone goes through something, some trial, some tribulation, to get to the stage to compete. Yours, however, is really unique.
Yes,
and
it
so
is.
rather than try to explain it, I'm gonna give you the floor and tell us about your condition, what you're going through, and most importantly, how are you doing?
Well, I appreciate that. Well, it was about June of 2020, and I was about 5 weeks out from show, and I had some intestinal cramping, and my coach thought it was just cramps, kind of thing, dehydration.
Right.
Turned out to be my intestines were twisting actually, and so my daughter rushed me to the hospital, and the only thing I remember is waking up a week later, 3 emergency surgeries. Most of my intestines removed, and a permanent ileostomy. And that is where I have a bag right here, and that's where I go to the bathroom the rest of my life. And the seriousness, I can't even speak, I'm a little nervous, sorry about that.
Take your time.
The seriousness of this is that a lot of people have ileostomies. Mine is a little bit unique because of the amount of intestines that I have left. And to give you kind of the gravity of the situation, I only have 9 feet. When you get down to 4.5, your life expectancy is about 3 to 5 years because you can't eat anymore. They kind of put a little hole here and you just inject liquids, basically. And your body just withers away. So when I eat, I don't have a lot of digestion time. I don't absorb a lot of things. So when people say I eat to live, I am one of those people. I can only eat quality foods because anything I put in my system needs to help me. So I can't even afford to cheat. And I love life so much, and I love this sport so much. And they kind of go hand in hand. Because when you're bodybuilding, you have to eat clean.
Right.
And when you want to live, you got to eat clean. So in a way, it's a benefit. So anyway, I just love the sport, and my condition kind of complements that.
Right.
So it's very hard to be in the gym with it because when your intestines are out, you have to be careful not to lift too heavy, not to strain or whatever, because you can damage yourself. Right. And that's what makes this very difficult. I don't have a lot of energy. I last maybe 2 hours, and then I almost need a nap. Just because my energy levels just constantly are going because my body just can't handle the nutrients, so I'm always having to feed myself kind of thing. So it's kind of like one of these kind of things which I can't do. But that's what happened in 2020. So
was there a point where, I'm not going to compete anymore, I'm just going to accept my fate? Was there a point where I'm going to quit? There was never a woe is me?
No. And I remember when I woke up in the hospital room after 3 emergency surgeries, I still didn't know what was wrong with me. But I overheard somebody saying, I'm not making it through the night. And it's like, what is wrong with me? So a while later, someone, and I just say bless them, left my cell phone on my chest. And I remember going like this and finding it, and I'm pressing it, and because I couldn't really see, and somehow I was able to call my daughter.
Wow.
And she was crying. She's like, Mom, I'm sorry I made the decision. I'm sorry you went through this. She's like, I'm sorry you're going to get back, to bodybuilding. And she's crying and she's crying. And I'm like, honey, no. I go, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to be better. I'm going to get back on that stage. And in November of 21, I made it back on stage. And that was, I think the conversation with her gave me that driving force to want to get out of the hospital and to want to get back into competing. Because you know how hard it was? 5 weeks before the show, I was ripped, muscular and everything. No one knew what happened to me, like at my local gym.
Right.
They just knew I just wasn't around for a while. Now, maybe 5 months later, I walk in, I'm thin as a rail, I could barely move, and I could hardly pick up a weight. What do you say to somebody that you just saw like that, and now you see them like this? No one talked to me. Not because they were upset, they just didn't know what to say of what I look like. And every day I just kept coming back. I would lift a 5-pound weight. I do a body weight squat. I just kept coming back to the gym every day. And then all of a sudden, this kind of went away in my head. It's like, I'm not too worried about this anymore. And I'm starting to build muscle, and I'm starting to get stronger, and I'm getting this confidence now. And now I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm just gonna do it. But if I never came back into the gym, being as low as upsetting as it was, I would never be where I am today. So sometimes you gotta do things that are scary, but you just gotta do it.
You are such a symbol of perseverance and the will to prevail. And
thank you.
You're something. You really are. So when I saw you out there, I said, well, I'm gonna contact her, see if she wants to shoot. But then to look further into the story, I was like, well, what's it been like to compete with it? What's it been like when that first time you walk backstage and everybody's like, did you get the stares and glares, or?
I got the stares and glares, but I overlooked them. I mean, no one ever like came and said, ooh, or tried to like make me feel bad. But obviously it is something and to look at. And I always talk to people about it. I'll come up to you and I'll explain, and then when people go, wow, that's a lot. And then I meet people in the medical field that are competing, and then they understand. And I love those people because now I can actually talk to somebody a little bit more about it. I remember I was at Linda Murray's show. And I was backstage, and I won't say their names, but there was like 3 women bodybuilders backstage, and they were on their phones. And I'm the kind of person that I just don't like to be on my phone. I like to talk and stuff. So I said this phrase, and at the beginning of it, they wanted to kill me, and at the end of it, they wanted to hug me. So I walk up, and I've got my pouch, and I'm, in my suit, and I'm like, hey, ladies, I know you're all intimidated by me. And these were like the best bodybuilders in the world. Because you can't rock a pouch like this. And then all of a sudden, their hatred went to, oh my God, this is so funny. And then we started talking, they asked questions about this. And what was beautiful about that moment, after I started talking about my condition, each one of them started talking something personal about them. And then we just had a nice time. And that's, to me, that's what it's all about. It's not about that I'm gonna get first place and I'm gonna beat you. I mean, we all want first place and we all wanna beat each other, we get that. But it's about the journey. And that's what I try to incorporate with my condition, is that journey. Trying to like pass on some compassion, reminding people life isn't so serious, or as serious as we should take it.
Anybody ever thought about quitting, they just need to look at you. And I'm talking about not just competition, anything.
Oh, just life. I mean,
just life, period.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing about it, this was not, you also had cancer, correct?
In 2017, I beat
from
breast
2017
cancer.
And then
2020.
You had major battles in your life.
Exactly.
As I said, you were a symbol of perseverance, and you prevailed. To have breast cancer, to have this situation, which you don't know what caused it, it just happens.
Exactly.
So I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that. And
I'm so glad that you took the time to talk to me. So.
I appreciate it. I just love talking about this and sharing my experiences and just helping others see things from a different perspective.
As you look out there, what would you say to someone that's going through a similar situation of yours? How can they get help? What can people that don't know or are ignorant to the fact of what an ileostomy is, what can we do? How can we support you?
Well, one way you could support us is just treating us normal. I mean, that's the thing. Don't feel sorry for us, but just understand there's exceptions that we need. Like I was mentioning, like we always have to be by a bathroom and things of that nature, but just treat us like normal people. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And if you have any questions, just ask. Of course, be respectful, but just ask. I think most of the time people just don't understand like what we go through, and we would just like to explain this is a day. And when you ask one of us like that, and we get to explain it, and you understand, I think that's the best thing. And then there's a lot of organizations out there that you can research and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's just really, just ask, you know, just don't be afraid of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's turn to women's bodybuilding.
My favorite subject.
Given the year that was,
Yes.
of loss of a point system,
Yes.
loss of shows, 10 competitors on the Olympia stage,
Yes.
what is the state of women's bodybuilding?
You know, people say there's not enough shows, bring back the point system, there's so many things going on. My feeling is there should be more shows out there. We need to support women's bodybuilding. But it's difficult because it takes so many years to get up to the women's bodybuilding level. And I think because of the lack of shows and taking away the point system, there's some people that are just leaving it because there's not any opportunities for them. And I think that's a disadvantage. So I really think we need to bring back the point system or put more shows out there.
Good answer.
Thank you.
And
I'm
with you 100%.
Yeah.
Because it was like a double-edged sword. Okay, no point system, got it. But then the loss of the shows, and it's like, so now you got to win and you're in.
Exactly.
And we end up with 10 competitors. And there were a lot of others that were on the outside looking in. Had they had one more show or had there been a point system, who knows? But then the caveat to this, or the devil's advocate is, you want the best of the best. And maybe in the year 2022 that it was a watered down Olympia. You know, you could make that argument.
True.
Especially for other categories, but I don't know if you can make that argument for women's bodybuilding.
See, I don't think
at the time, I think there was 20 women's bodybuilders at the Olympia. And so, and it basically literally went 50%, half.
Yeah.
So.
And that is hard, but in my opinion, it takes such a long time to get to women's bodybuilding.
Right.
You can't just
your category takes the most time to grow.
It does. So to me, you should have a little bit more leeway, point system, more shows, whatever, than somebody who could just do their first show and get into it. You can't do that for women's bodybuilding. It takes such a long time to build that muscle mass up.
Cheryl Mears, IFBB Women's Bodybuilder Pro. You ready to do this shoot?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
All right.
I'm Glen Young, Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, GPS Photography and Video. Shout out to AJ and JB at Female Bodybuilding Channel. And most importantly, with your help and support, we can do more.